After we've awakened to our true divine self, after we've seen the divinity within us, after we've arrived at this place of knowingness within our being, what do we allow to be seen within us? What do we allow to be heard within us? What do we allow to be known within us? I am God's grace. I am God's love. I am God's truth. I am God's divinity, right? We are that. We are all that. We accept that into our being as we accept God's grace, as who we are, what we are, where we are, why we are. We came here to be great. We came here to be divine. We came here to be free. We came here to be loving. We came here to be kind. Kind is the essence of our beingness. Kind is the essence of our truth. So what does all of that mean? When we're in the world, when we're living our daily life in the reality, what does all of that mean? How do we keep those ideals? How do we live those ideals? How do we become that grace within us? For me, it's just been a process of diving deeper and deeper and deeper into my being, one layer at a time, sometimes several layers at a time, being revealed, being removed, being seen. Sometimes things come up that are so strong that I feel like I'm lost in whatever's happening. And when that happens, I just dive deeper. I just go deeper. I just go further into my own being. Because I know at this point that nothing outside of me is going to help me. Nothing outside of me is going to bring me peace. Nothing outside of me is going to take me to that state of my own true self. No matter how painful it is, I must sit and close my eyes and look for the truth within me. Because when I look for the truth within me, it's all love. That's what's revealed to me. It's all love. Everything is love. So you know, if you've been following me, that I went through a big release phase of my life, starting in February, going into early April. And it's still been going, just not to the extent that it was at that time period. That 40-day period was so intense that I couldn't do anything else. I was just kind of stuck to the floor most of the time, releasing and experiencing. And a lot of the releasing that I experienced was intense past life releases. And these past lives were mostly tortures, being burned at the stake, being hung, being stoned, being dragged behind a wooden cart by a noose around my neck, etc., etc., etc. And I lived through each one of these during that period. And it wasn't a mild experience. It was reliving the fear, the terror, the pain, the frightened state of being. And in some of them, I saw people that are in my current life having a similar experience with me that we're currently having, just not to the same degree, obviously, currently. And eventually it was just my ego itself that was just being dissolved. It was really, really, really hard to release because it was the very essence of me, I thought, this part of me. And who would I be if this was pulled from me, if this was released? There would be no more me. But I surrendered to it the best that I possibly could, because I knew this was God's grace working through me. So I surrendered and just witnessed this ego being pulled from me. And then I would go into the high realms of light with the Divine Mother herself, with God, with my gurus, and experience things there and receive information there as I was going through this process. I can't say that it was enjoyable. I can't say that it was enjoyable, but at the same time, I was so grateful that it was happening, because I knew the depth of what was happening to me. So, in that process, I recognized there was a certain person in my life who came into my life this time to show me all of those past traumas that I had experienced. And he came in with a vengeance for me. And we put ourselves in a certain situation so that he could have appropriate vengeance for me. And he's been carrying this on for 50-some years. Now, in the process of my work throughout the years, I've always recognized him as a divine being of light, even though he unfortunately is not capable of seeing himself in that way. But I know that that amplitude of light is within him, and I know he came here with a great gift for me. So we haven't spoken really or communicated for several years. Every time we do, it's a difficult, very, very difficult exchange. So after this release that I had, and I'm still having from February to April, and it's still coming, it's still coming. And I know that there are still bits and pieces and remnants. So I went to a healer friend of mine last week, very gifted healer named Tammy Roupp. She's in my town, and I cherish her work. So I went to her with this idea of doing a final release in the area of my sexual organs, that kind of first, second chakra area. Let's just release all of this once and for all. Let's let it all go once and for all. And I also have a spot in the middle of my back that I was hoping after that big 40-day release would be gone, and it wasn't. So she did a lot of work in this sexuality area of my life, and I think we really released kind of the remnants. And then went into this area in my mid-back, which we got into a bit, and there was some releasing, but she said then she got kicked out. And I knew that I have to go back to her every 3 weeks to kind of keep working on this. And this is something that is so deep. I have worked on this for so many years with so many different people in so many different ways. And I can't get to it. I haven't been able to get to it. And I just have known that when it's safe at the right time, this would come up for me. So the release started with her, and then, so this is interesting because I know on the 5th started the harmonic convergence with the big full moon, and I believe the lunar eclipse, and all kinds of planets in a particular alignment. And so something happened with this person in my life. Sheerly accidentally. I did not initially make contact. Contact was made by something completely different. A misunderstanding, a miscommunication happened, and all of a sudden he and I were in this thing again. And it doesn't take long to raise it to that vibration because it's always been right there on the surface, even if we don't talk for years. So I have this thing now in my face. And I'm really grateful. As much as I'm pained, I'm very grateful because I know this is the final release of all of this energy. I mean, and I have so much gratitude coming up right now as I'm talking about it. Of all of this energy, of all those past lives, of just not being recognized for my work, not only not being recognized for the light work, for the energy work, for God's grace, but being tortured for it, right? Being denied basic human rights because of it. So this is the final, I hope this is the final episode where it can be allowed to finally release. We shall see. But I wanted to give some information on my backstory so that when we do this clearing today, you'll understand where I'm coming from and the depth within me and the work that I've been doing personally. I'm sure that many people that are listening to this can relate to this because so many people I have worked with have been tortured in past lives because of the light that we've brought to this planet. So it's time for us all to heal this, I think, once and for all. There's a great awakening happening on the earth plane. We're all ready to reveal our light in a safe, conscious, beautiful way. Shava Korono Soroko. So let's go into our hearts. Mashiva Korono Si Araniato. We are going to release everything we have been holding on to that is no longer serving our Christ consciousness, our bliss, our love, our truth, our divinity. Masiva Korono Hroto. Randa Kali Shiva Hamboro Go Shiva Karana Are Shatta Korono Soroto Korot Sansara Hambayaro Koro Sivaya Korotandare Shivaya Om. So just sink into the heart, deep into that beautiful space in the center of our chest where we feel, we know, we see all things free. Kuro Sansare Kaliyara Kuro no Siva Hambayo Shaiva Guru Shivara Komorotoritara Hara Kurun Siva Kurono Koratande Kilatara Om Marakishava Kuronoto. So, quick release today. Just allow your heart to open to the divine within you. Allow all things to be free within you. Allow God's light to penetrate you fully, deeply into the center of your being. Corona siva korono soroto tanda ali korotandara koroshava koromasi arata harandali korotondoro koromasiva karatandara. Ask that the patterns be revealed that you're carrying from past lives, incarnations, Kurushai Rondo, we may now release them for good and live our purpose here divinely, perfectly, freely. Shaiva Korono Kurushan Sareyato Korotanda Rete Karatanda Ali Rata Korono Soroto Harandali Shai Uroko Mata Harande ko neke rate Om Matara Kali Shivaya. Harande Om Matara Om Shivaya Roto Hiranarite Om Shivaya Om Mate Yekoro Shivaya Om Mate Harane Korate Ratara Om Shivaya Go Shivaya Go Matare Horo Shivaya Om Mata Erara Om Matara Haraneko Sanareko Ambara Om Hiroko Om Hirara Om Hirara Om Mata Ye Roko Shivaya Om Harate Om Matara Om Hirara Om Mata Hirara Om Mata Hirara Om Hirara Om Hirara Om Hirara Om Hirara Om Hara Om Hara Om Hara Om Hara Om. Allowing God's light to penetrate our being fully. God's light is the divinity of truth that we are. Allowing God's light to penetrate our body fully, clearing and cleaning anything that is not serving our highest light. Shaiva Kurumasivaye Oro Mate Om Herada Om Herada Om Herada Om Herada Om Aranda Kali Om Aranda Kali Om Aranda Kali Om Aranda Kali Om Alanda 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 Guru Alanda Guru Alanda 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 Guru Alanda 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 Guru Alanda 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 Guru Alanda 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 Guru Alanatara Om Alanda Rete. Let it go. Make the conscious intention to let it go now. Release everything that has been holding on to you that is not in your highest interest and in your highest good. Wow, let it go now. Consciously let it go. Ma'ale kuru ronda ariti shava korono sorote ke kalirata ranasirata komoto no korosa sarete kamatsi havatana alirata korono soroto korono serete. We're letting it go so that we can be free to be who we truly are in God's light and God's divinity. Shaiva Guru Tandare Shivaya Ororo Shivaya Om Mata Shivaya Om 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 Shivaya Om. Shivaya Om. Matarete kurushanane. Nirana aliato kurusasarete koronoroto krotandale haranda. I now claim my divinity. I now claim my truth. I now claim my freedom. I now claim my grace as the divine one that I came here to be. Kurusansare shaiva harana lakaramoso. Be who you are, why you are, and where you are in this divinity now. Masivaya Matara Kurutundo Roto Shaiva Omata. There it is. Kurusabate. Kiamatale Erono. Mesiva Kurono Kurusasarete. So let it go. Let it go. We'll do it together. Let it go. Let the grace of God's love consume you, consume us. Be free in this divinity, in this truth, in this love. We are free. We always have been free. We always will be free. Right? Let's let all of this go now. Shava korono tondarete, shava koromo sarete. I am free. I am free. I am free. Masirata haranda aliato kurushava kanandete aranaka. Peto meata komashia karaka hirana.
Love is all you ever need.